This one definitely took me by surprise, but I bet if you've been watching college football for the last couple weeks and months, it probably didn't surprise you. But let's talk about how Sorsby and Texas Tech have, I don't know if it's mutual yet, but they have decided to part ways and he will declare for the other NFL draft. You're telling me there's a second NFL draft? So the term is called a supplemental draft. Okay, I'm not gonna be out here being like, oh, I knew exactly what that meant. Yeah, let me tell you. We've heard this word before. During the whole process of like him being suspended and what was going on with that about a month ago, that's when we learned the word for the first time. And then we had, media pundits talking about, okay, could he enter this kind of draft for the NFL if he's never going to be able to play college football again? My thoughts and reactions to that is like I kind of ignored it because I was like, nah, he's playing college football. Like let's not kid ourselves. They're gonna let him play. He's gonna go play at Texas Tech. They're gonna tear it up and potentially win the Big 12. And now where we sit after the fact, it's kind of like, oh damn, okay, maybe this is the real deal. And I think this kind of, because there's a whole bunch of things that I could talk about. You could talk about the Big 12 and how a lot of people were going to step away from scheduling them in futures. There was talk of like the Big 12 getting sued, or I don't know, a whole bunch of legislation stuff that I don't understand, don't care to understand, don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it too much. Kind of my thoughts at the end of the day is with the NIL era, and this is kind of what's like sparked this whole debate from the get go. And, with paying players, and then you roll into what we have now where they have made it legal to gamble and sports bet. We know infamously of the countless athletes. I mean, they were talking about the kid from Iowa that never got to play again. But look at baseball, Pete Rose. Like, that's one of the biggest stories on why he was never inducted into the Hall of Fame. Again, that's my own personal opinion. I think where it gets a little bit in the nitty gritty is when you see, because I'll be honest, I had no clue he played for Indiana. That was one thing that kind of surprised me because they were talking about how much money he had spent in his bets when he was clearly the backup. I think ultimately where the decision came to a head, though, is probably I will use the term, yes, negative press. Right after the NCAA said, yeah, no, he's good to play, you could see all the teams be like, nope, we want out. Like, we schedule a matchup with you in 3 years, 4 years, we want out. And I think because of that, that's probably potentially why they decided to part ways. I don't know. My reaction to it too, of like if they were going to allow him to play or not, comes down to the fact of like we looked at who the most paid rosters were. We looked at the top end talent, in the NIL portal, and we looked at all that. And then who ends up winning the national championship? A whole bunch of 5th year and 6th year seniors who have like played college football for a while, like grown ass men. And it's like, go figure, like the team with the most experience, not, paying the most out of pocket to pay for a team, ended up winning because the team that did pay a lot of money to compete, which no shade, I'm not trying to throw any shade here, it was Texas Tech. And we saw how that game in the Orange Bowl ended, to Oregon. Now, it is what it is, because the other thing too is I think the Big 12 could be pretty stacked this year. So like there's no guarantees that Texas Tech wins it and runs it back, because we saw the same exact thing and thought it for Arizona State after they won it. And then you got to compete with the Big 10, you got to compete with the SEC. So it's not like his impact on Texas Tech wouldn't have been, obvious, because he's pretty top end quarterback, highly sought after. A lot of people probably would have projected him to be a top round draft pick for next year's class. But the thing at the end of the day is it's like we got to play these games. With football though, like one player doesn't make a team. There's 10 other guys on the field as well, and sometimes even your best quarterback or like a mediocre quarterback, there's still 21 other players on the field that can dictate the outcome of every single game. Which, in fact, while we're at it, let's just look at some projected. The Cardinals. Yeah, he's not going to the Cardinals. The Cleveland. Oh my gosh, the Cleveland Browns. That would, hey, make that soap opera a little bit better. Let's go, man. Send him to Cleveland. The Dolphins. I don't know. The Jets. I want to wish that above my own enemy, man. The Steelers. Okay, the Steelers doesn't make sense because they literally have Aller, they have Howard, they also have Roger. Like that, this one doesn't make as much sense. But anyways, that is, it is what it is. Like I didn't want to make a video till like it was a final. Okay, this is probably what's going on. Which now we know what the final verdict is. Where it's like, okay, no, he's gonna enter that NFL draft. But guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts. Did the NCAA make the right choice? Did Texas Tech make the right choice? How does their season look ahead, competing in the Big 12 and ultimately for a college football playoff bid and the national championship? Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.